Test, test. Oh. Ay, babe. Hold on, guys. There you go. This shit drives me crazy. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tangle up all these wires. Okay. All right, today I want to explore some polyrhythms using the stick control book. You know, we learned the stick control book as hopefully the way George Lawrence Stone intended it. Look at this. All right, that's good. And we learned full strokes, half strokes, and quarter strokes. And if you're not familiar with those terms, I will gladly explain them. So get in the chat and tell me. So anyway, you know, let me just give you an example of the full stroke. We throw the stick down like so. And I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And who's this? James. Good. I hope you enjoy it, and we're going to be working on it from the book, the workbook, in the evening. Hopefully you can read all of that. If not, we'll go over some, I'll send some PDF files with some explanations. Okay, so now we're doing the quarter note. I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's my pulse. That's 1 against nothing. 1, 2. Now I'm going to put 2 against, I'm going to do 2 against 1, which would be 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's 1 against 2. Okay? Good. We'll tell them to come here and we'll work with that. Anyway, we're going to do the 3. Now, the 3 is a triplet. Let me get out of this. Hold on. Oh. The 3 is a triplet. Now, I'm not sure of how you guys could count triplets. You know, there's a couple different ways. Whatever works for you is great. You know, you have a triplet, which would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Now, for this particular exercise, what I want to do is count the triplet as a subdivision. 1, 2, I change the count. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So now how do we get 2 in there? All right, so if I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3, and that's a total of 6 counts. So if you multiply, there's the formula, if you multiply 3 times 2, you get 6. 6, so we're going to subdivide 6 counts. If I go 3, will be every other count. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now I want to do 2. So how do I equalize the 2? That would be every 3 beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 every 3 beats. And 1 and 2 and. So now we have every other beat and every, there was that 1, 2, every set third beat. 1, 1, 2, and 3. How you doing, Ed? 1. Now if I played the hi-hat on the count of 1, I'm doing a polyrhythm, 3 polyrhythms. 1 against 2 against 3. The 2 is with my bass drum, the 3 is with my left hand, and the 2 is with my bass, my hi-hat. So I have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So I did 2 with the bass drum, 1 with the hi-hat, and 3 with the snare. What do we got? You're not going to be interrupting any lesson there. Hi, Joe. How are you? James. Any question is valid. It's not a problem. I'll try to get to it. I'm doing 3 against 2. Now, what I like to do is use the stick control book. Now, we establish where the 3 is. If I do the 3, 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2, and I'm going to play the first line of stick control book on one surface. Play a little faster. Now, there's a lot of different variations we can do. I haven't written anything out yet, but I am putting a different notebook together, which will be less pages instead of 177, maybe 80 pages or so, of these different variations of the of the polyrhythms: 3 against 2, 3 against 4, 3 against 5 against 4, 5 against 2, and 3 against 5. And I'm going to put them all together, and we're going to use the stick control book as a reference to play this. Now, if I'm playing the triplets, 1 with my right hand, and I make all the rights the bass drum, 1, and the left's the snare drum. 1, 2, 3. Sorry. Oh boy. 1, 2, 3. 1. 1, 2, 3. There's line 1. 1. So I'm actually playing line 1 between my bass drum and my snare. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2. 1 and 2 and 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. 1. Now if I played line 3, for example, you might see it better here. This is my 3. 1, 2, 3. Now bass R equals the bass drum, or becomes the bass drum, and L still the snare drum. 1, 2, 3. 1. 1. 1. 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. And if I did, you understand this so far, gentlemen? I'll go backward a little bit here and explain what I'm doing a little slower and in more detail. So if there's any questions on this right at the moment, before I go any further, let's talk about it. We have Ed, Jim, and Joe in here now, or James rather. And how's the afternoon lesson going to work for you guys? Is it going to be better? I'm going to be doing them as much as I possibly can. And do you like this view better? Some input, please. Three against two. Now we're going to make three to bottom. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do the stick control book. Page, let's do all the rights on the floor. 1, and all the lefts on the snare. 1, 2, 3. Let me get this. 1, 2, 3, 1. What's the question? All right, well, that's good. I mean, that's the more the merrier, right, Joe? All right, 3 against 2. We're going to make 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's do the bass drum first. That's line 1. I could do 3 here with my right hand and make all the rights the bass drum and all the lefts the hi-hat. 1. Now remember, I'm subdividing this. I'm not thinking of the triplet as 1 and 2 and or 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, or 1 ta ta, 2 ta ta. I don't know where the hell that comes from, but people count them like that. What do you mean, lift it up a little bit? Lift the camera, raise the camera up a tad, and shift it to the left. Well, I can't get off the kit right now. But you can see my right hand, you can see my left hand, correct? I have to do that tonight for tonight's lesson. All right, the 3 against 2 is really simple. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. You can see my pedal, no? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Between the hi-hat and the bass drum. Left hand, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. More is better or merrier, whatever you'd like to say. That's not a problem. But 3 against 4 is a common polyrhythm. And I like to exercise my bass drum. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Doing 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Do that for 3, 4, 5, 10 minutes. You have fun. I didn't really prepare a whole lot. I will get into very, very detail, all right? And we'll make it a little merrier, okay, Joe, for tonight. And we'll work some from the book as well, okay? And we might even do the book today, right now. But first I want to demonstrate 3 against 4. All right. And when I do this kind of polyrhythmic stuff, there's a couple different ways. But the way I like to do this is to subdivide the 3. Now, when I was doing the 3 against 2, 1, 2, and 3, I was counting 1 and 2 and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Line 5, the paradiddle between this. 1, 2, 3 against the triplet. 1, 2, 3. Excuse me. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Did you hear that? Okay. So we'll hang out with the 3 against 2 tonight. We'll really get into it. You guys come back. 3 against 4. Okay. What it is if I'm doing triplets and if I'm doing 16ths. So I'm going to do triplets with my left hand. And I'm going to do the 4 with my right hand on the floor tom-tom. Okay? One variation. So I'm going to play the triplet, and I subdivide that triplet. Instead of now 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and what I'm going to do, I'm going to play 1 against 3. But I'm going to subdivide the distance between 1, 2, 3 as 1E and the 2E and the 3E and E and the 2E and the 3E and the. So I have 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 1E and the 2E and the 3. So that still gives me 1 against 3. Now we get the 4 in there. 1E and the 2E and left hand doing the 3. Now what I like to do with that is take the triplet downtown, the 3, 1, 2, 3. Now I'm thinking 1E and the 2E and the 3E and I'm going to play the stick control book, line 1. Instead of interpreting it as 1, let me turn the stick down, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And I'm going to play it as 1E and the 4E and the. And that's going to be the top while I play triplets with the bottom. So I have 1E and the 2E and the 3E and so we've got the triplets here, 1E and the 2E and line 1, 1E and line 3, right, right, left, left, 1E and the 2E and the 3. The parallel to the line 5. 1E and the 2E and the 3E and the 1E and the 2. That's 3 against 4 and 3 against 2. And yeah, I will make the changes, Joe. It's not a problem. I just, after I complete the lesson, let me just see what you want me to do. And I'll move the camera somewhat, and you tell me where it would be good for you. I know everybody can see this. I was going to make some changes for that ride cymbal. But anyway, we understand it 3 against 2, 3 against 4. What I like to do as a warm-up, and I'll do it for 3, 4, 5 minutes, I'm going to take the Joe Morello's Table of Time. I'm going to play line 1, which is quarter notes. I'm going to play line 3, which is eighth notes. Line 4, which is eighth note triplets, and the next line, which is 16th notes. So I'm just going to do the quarter notes with my bass drum, the eighth notes with my hi-hat, the triplets with my snare drum, and the grooves of 4 with my floor tom-tom. Okay, now bear with me. 1E and the 2E and the 3. That's 3 against 1. Now we got 1E and the 2E and the 3. Okay, now we're going to do the 4 up here. 1, 2, 3. Do we understand that? I like to do that for 3, 4, 5 minutes. That's just to loosen up. Now, I have all kinds of permutations or variations, rather, that's a better term, of these polyrhythms, and I'm writing them out, and I'm going to put them into a book, like I said in the beginning of the lesson, and it will be available for purchase. It's not going to be 177 pages. I mean, that was a nightmare for me. I still have, out of the 10 books, I have 1 left. So we'll see what happens with that. And I don't think I want to give it up. Okay, but we'll see what happens. I might have to do some more. Are there any questions to this point, gentlemen? Please. You want me to break down the 3 against 4 a little slower, or the 3 against 2 a little slower? Because I might touch on 5 against 2, 5 against 3 come tomorrow. And I'll break it down. And by the way, there are mathematical formulas to figure this out. And I'll explain that later on. Now, with the workbook, so far Joe, Ed, and James have the book. Is there anything in particular, I'm assuming that you looked through the book, and anything in particular you want me to say work on with you right now? I will. Anything. No? Okay. What I was going to intend to do, okay, on the 1 p.m. lesson was do a drum pad lesson, and in the evening do a drum set application. Does that sound okay with you guys? Yes, no, maybe, by chance, perhaps? Can you hear me? Hello? Get on the keyboard. Ugh. I might work out also Steve Gadd's 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, send you the sheet, and work on it. You're okay? Well, that is a good exercise because you're working the right hand, you're working the left hand, the bass drum, and the hi-hat, and that's 4 polyrhythms. 3 against 4 against 2 against 1. And we're going to get into this, but this is just more like I guess you can call it a trailer, I guess whatever they call that. Okay. What is his name, James? His first name, so I know who that might be. Okay, but anyway, you're okay with the polyrhythms there, Ed, and Joe, and James? And there's somebody else in here, but they're not in the chat. When you say, you're working some warm-up exercises, there's a tremendous amount of variety of warm-ups. I mean, I fool around a lot warming up. I'll just say hello to my drums. I don't ever sit down cold and start playing and blowing my brains out because you'll hurt yourself. Okay, good, Joe. You're okay. But, you're consolidating, you're consolidating your practice and you're accomplishing another zone, opening up another door. Like, to sit there on let me get the drum pad a minute. Hold on, guys. Oh. To do the stick control book, full strokes. That's a great exercise to open up your hands. Who's this? And that's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 or half strokes. Well, actually, I'm doing this 1 against 2. But now, when we add the bass drum, all right, and we'll do it on 1 surface. I'm gonna play it on the drum pad. 1, you got. We're gonna do 3 against 2. 3 with the bass drum, and 2 up here. 3, 1, So you're actually doing full strokes and you're doing a polyrhythm and you're working your bass drum at the same time. You're consolidating that. Yeah, I have a lot there, James, but we'll talk about it in email if you'd like. Or I'll give you a call. You give me your phone number. I might call you, okay, James? But what I'm saying here is you're consolidating. You're actually practicing, you're practicing full strokes. You're doing triplets with the bass drum. 1, 2, out. Line 5. So on and so forth. Now what I'm going to do is take some figures from the syncopation book, and we're going to move them around against a polyrhythmic formation. 3 against 2, 5 against 2, 5 against 4. You know, it's pretty complicated. Now, a lot of guys, when they're playing commercially or playing cover tunes, there is a few polyrhythms, but it's not as exaggerated as 3 against 4 or 5 against 3 or 5 against 4. What this does gives you a tremendous amount of control of your limbs. It develops strength, okay? If you could put them into a musical situation, okay? All right? 50 ways to leave your lover, drags, and yes. Okay. We'll do that. But I mean, I'm trying to really work hard. You know, it's long hours inside of the drum studio. And I'm trying this thing here now. I want to see how it works. And I think it's going to work. If it's easier for your gentlemen to make the 1 p.m. lesson, that's great. And I'm also, you can have the option to come to the 7 p.m. lesson. I'm going to try not to repeat what I'm doing 1 p.m. at 7 p.m. There's a lot of work to be done, a lot of practicing, and there should be a tremendous amount of questions. Now, one more, I want to make an announcement. I'm trying to put together a roundtable discussion forum live. And you hear me mention the level system, and what I want to do is have 4 former students of Joe Morello. I have myself, Alan Herman, and Steve Foster so far. And I sent out an email, and I'm going to hear from him soon, from Jeffrey, okay, Johnson. He's the author of the level system. And what we're going to do is we're going to discuss Jeffrey Johnson's level system, which he did a tremendous job. And hold on, come on, guys. Here you go. And Steve Foster's the binary algorithms applied to paradiddles. It's a takeoff on the stick control book as well. So I'm going to have the 2 of them discuss their books. All right. Alan Herman discuss his CD out of the box. And me, I'll be the audio video guy. However, I'm trying to really get it together and present it to you. It'll probably be a 2-hour session. Other than, you know, promoting their books or their publications, and there's CD, we are going to discuss the memories of Joe Morello, of studying with him, and what it did and where he took them. It's very, very simple, and I think it would be a very nice get-together. And as far as Facebook is concerned, the Art of Drumming groups, we're just about at 91,000 right now, members of the Art of Drumming. And once I reach 100,000, I am going to rent a hall. I'm going to have a couple artists do some clinics. I'm going to have a big get-together. All right, well, then you're in luck, right, Ed? If you can, make as many as you can. It's nice to have a full, chat room with questions. I try to help everybody as much as I possibly can. All right, what do you think of that idea, having a drum clinic or a drum show with a couple guys, like Mike Clark, even Jeffrey Johnson, maybe Lenny White, all those guys, you know, just to come into New Jersey for the day. or maybe 2 days. It depends how many artists I can get. Mark Walker, and whoever else I can get. Adam Nussbaum. We'll do a segment on tuning the drums. Have a great time. What do you guys think of that? Anyway, I'm more or less, kind of trying this out for 1 p.m. And if it's as populated as it is right at the moment, I'm going to continue. Okay? Any questions? Because I will be back tonight at 7 p.m. And we will go and put your questions together. If you can come at 7 p.m., put your questions together with the polyrhythms. They're really good to play. They're great for your coordination. Now, we have Joe, Ed, and James. You're all from the Massachusetts. You all can carpool, come on down. That's 3 members already. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to call this today, but I will probably call tomorrow. Okay, and we'll talk somewhat. And we will go over some of the rudiments eventually during the afternoon, because that gives me an open space to demonstrate how I learned the rudiments. And like I said, I'm going to stick to my guns here. There's only 3 rudiments. There's the singles, the doubles, and the flams. And everything else that is combined is considered a hybrid. Okay, Joe, think about it and take your time doing this. You're not in a contest. You're not in a race. You want to benefit by this. Slow down. The slower the better, because it takes a tremendous amount of concentration. It makes you stronger. Okay? Hopefully I can see you again, Ed, tonight. James, hopefully tonight. And whoever else is in here. 7 people. My goodness. And there's only 3 people in the chat. I don't know if you can get in the chat with if you're viewing this with a phone. But anyway, I will be back tonight at 7 p.m. and we'll demonstrate somewhat in a deeper sense the polyrhythms. And we'll stay with the 3 against 2 and 3 against 4 for a little time. And then we'll go to 3 against 4, 3 against 4 and 3 against 5. 3 against 4. 4, 5 against 4, I'm sorry, and 5 against 2, 5 against 3. And I'll show you how to break them up. I may be able to put the formula on this screen. I've been, trying to do that. So there's no questions, and I will be back every day this week, 1 p.m. Yeah, I know there's a delay. There's nothing anybody can do about it. It's the internet, the delay. Okay? I just went out about a year ago and purchased a brand new computer, a PC. What do they call it? 12. I don't know what it is. It's just it's. Oh, I forgot the name. Jesus. A 12-core computer, and I use it only for streaming. The streaming is a lot clearer. It's a lot. There's no buffering. There is a delay, which there's nobody can do. Okay, I understand that, James. Anyway, Joe, rather. Oh, okay. That's gonna line it up for today. I'm gonna be back tonight at 7 p.m. Hopefully you all will show up. Okay? And I'll try to call you there, James, as soon as I can. But right now, we're talking, like I mentioned to you, Jack Foster, Alan Herman, and Jeffrey Johnson. The only delay is getting back to Jeffrey Johnson. Okay, fine. And thank you, James. And Alan Herman, he's in China right now, so it's not. We're not talking. We're talking the end of February, maybe the first week of March. But it takes a tremendous amount of time and a tremendous amount of work to organize this. Don't forget, these guys are musicians. One's in China, one's in Europe, one's in California, and to get them all to New Jersey is not easy. Okay. Okay, so well, it's not set in stone yet. I'm going to need at least 50 people. Okay, and if I get that, and I think I will, I think I'll be able to do that. It depends on where you are, what you're using, and who your provider is with the delay. Okay, gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up, and I will see everybody hopefully by this tonight at 7 p.m. So, guys, have a good rest of the day. Get your questions together. And Ed, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. So, have a good rest of the day, gentlemen.